Well, as you can see, your old pal Jay Snip to the fourth power has taken the weekend off a bit here. Haven't done any videos to release for you guys, but plenty to talk about. And I'm going to start this Monday morning with the fact that world leaders just agreed to a historic climate accord, which is non binding and has no enforcement language. That's like a bunch of people getting together in a room. Yeah, we ought to do this. Yeah, we should do that too. You know what? I suggest we do that. You know what? That all sounds good. You guys think that sounds good? Yeah, it sounds good. And then we leave. You guys gonna sign that? Are you gonna sign anything? Any kind of legal? Well, that's right. You can't really do that, can you? Most countries can't legally sign some kind of binding agreement like that, right? We're sovereign nations. You sign these little treaties with other countries, and then at any time, either side can say the treaty's over, just because I felt like it. Oh, my shoulder hurts a little bit, right? Treaty's over. Okay, no problem. See you later. Oh, let's talk about global warming. We're right. Remember that we're gonna try to keep the temperature from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius. I've said this before. Ice core samples. Ice core samples. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands even of years ago. Ice core sample data shows that there's warming and cooling of great variations throughout history. Back when we were crawling on the ground and beating animals over the head with a stick and eating and living that way, those days when, in other words, we couldn't have been spewing carbon in the air. Exactly. So if you don't mind, I'd like to share some data with you before I even read this article. Let's start off with this page here. 2010 Antarctica peer-reviewed research. Ice core data confirms medieval period warmer than present. That's funny. Medieval, like a few hundred years ago, medieval? Yeah, yep. Or actually, even longer. So right off the bat, let's just look at these first three sentences, then I'll show you the chart. The medieval warming period had temperatures that approached 1 degree Celsius higher than current temperatures in spite of lower CO2 levels. Number two, the Minoan warming period had temperatures that possibly exceeded current temperatures by 1 degree Celsius in spite of lower CO2 levels. Number three, my favorite, the previous interglacial period, approximately 130,000 years ago, had temperatures in excess of 4 degrees Celsius versus current temperatures, and yes, again, in spite of lower CO2 levels. Wow, look surprised. So we look at this chart, and you can see and on the left side is current times, okay? So it's actually, you may think it's backwards. The left side of the chart is actually nowadays, okay? And you look back 10,000 years ago, and well, up until, call it, look at the chart, about 8,000 years ago, maybe a degree, a half a degree variation, nothing major. Then 10, 12,000 years ago, we see this, over on this side, this little spike up and then down, it shoots way down. Then it goes up a little bit, then it shoots way, 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 way down 20,000 years ago. 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, etc. Look all the way over to 140,000. But let's stop first at 130,000 in between 110,000 years ago. There is a wild swing. If you look at 100,000 years ago, so the 100 on the map, it's approximately 4 to 5 degrees minus. Then on the right side, 130,000, right? So we go from 100 to 30, I know it's not thousands, but 30,000 years later, and it spikes up above, just a hair above 4, positive 4. So from -4 to +4. That's an 8-degree fluctuation. Again, in the span of 30,000 years. This chart is from ice core sample data, 140,000 years worth. And then you can see after that 130,000, that next 10,000. Talk about rapid climate change. It's down to negative almost 10 Celsius, variation, right? 10. And then just 10 years before that, 1,000 years, 10,000 years before that, it was over 4. So it's a 14-degree temperature spike. Celsius. You take that into Fahrenheit, holy crap. I'm, you know, call me crazy, but I don't think humans were spewing carbon across the planet like they do nowadays. And I'm going to read this article, and then I'm going to highly recommend, a video you can now watch on YouTube for free. It's like an hour and something, maybe 2 hours long. And it is, well, I'll just tell you what it is now. Why not? Cowspiracy. I'll try to remember to post the link. If I don't, the name of just go to YouTube, type Cowspiracy. Like conspiracy, but cows. Cowspiracy, one word. And it says, watch Cowspiracy, the sustainability secret, full documentary free. It's an hour and a half, so hour and 29 minutes long. And I watched this the other day, I think on Netflix with my wife. She's like, yeah, I heard about this thing. Let's watch it. It was great. And this guy goes around. I mentioned this the other day. This guy goes around talking to all of the green organizations, Go Green, and all, you know them all, Greenpeace, and you name it, they're all there. And he says, I want to share this information with you. And it's very simple. The carbon output, pollution, if you will, from the whole, cows, generally speaking, is so far off the charts that if we all live like China, all countries were like China and wearing masks and smog, I don't think we would even come remotely close to competing with the cows as far as greenhouse gases are concerned. And he shows the charts of, and I don't know, and I'm trying to remember now, because it was a little while back, if it was just the gas of the cows or some other process of that, just the fact that when there's so many of them, and not only that, when we slaughter them and all that stuff, like all that included, or if it was just the gas or the methane or whatever. I can't remember at this point, but the bottom line is cows, farming cows for slaughter, etc., and milking, whatever purposes, having so much cattle on this earth cause those greenhouse gases to absolutely explode. And it's interesting too, because it's not just about that. He goes to show, like, if we settle down on our meat appetite, as people across this world, the amount of space you need land for just a few cows is insane. The real space that they need to graze and stuff. And he said if you just took and made that a farm as far as vegetable growing, crop growing, you'd have absolutely abundance, excess food across the world, like out of control. Now, granted, that also means, I'm going to become a vegetarian. I love my meat. Now, I understand, I get it. But sometimes there's something that's knocking on your door called reality that doesn't care what you like or don't like, or you want to. I don't want to be a vegetarian. Or sometimes it's kind of like that. I was telling my mom, telling you the story about my mom the other day, and living with my sister, not paying rent because she's so poor, down in her luck, if you will. Um, Magic 8 Ball sign is my mom signs for my mom getting any better? Says signs point to yes. 8 Ball, Magic 8 Ball. You're lying. Why you gotta make me look bad on camera? Freaking Magic 8 Ball. Bottom line is she's signs are pointing to no. She's not looking too good over there. But I told you she came to me and asks me about, she had a little warranty on her car, recall or something. She gets there, everything was fine, brake lights are working, there's no problem. Oh, but we can put you in a new car for probably what you're paying now on payments, or maybe just a hair more. And we can give you $2,000 cash in your pocket. My mom calls me, Joe, you got a minute to talk? Yeah, I'll be right over. She wanted to come over and ask me, should I get this new car? Why do you want your new car? Well, this one's getting kind of old, and it's an 08, 2008, and I'm just kind of tired of it. Anything wrong with it? I mean, your brake lights are now working. Everything's good, right? Yeah. It's not leaking. AC works. Yep, yep, yep. When are you going to pay it off? Uh, about 4 more months it'll be paid off. And you want to go get a brand new 6 or 7 year mortgage loan, if you will, on a car, just to have a new car. Mom, how would $250 sound a month in your pocket right now in the state you're living in? State of conditions you're living. I could definitely use a 250 extra. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, Mom, you're not gonna if whatever his name is, Paul or whatever, calls you back, Dan calls you back, Dan, not interested. And by the way, don't call me back. Okay, you're right. So her pocketbook, her bank account, forced her, in a sense, to make that decision. I want a new car. I used to live like that. I could go buy a new car. Now I can't. Something has happened in your life that is forcing you, essentially, not to do it. Of course, I advise her because she probably could have gotten that car. The dealership would have. It doesn't matter what kind of money you're approved. Would have gave it to her, and the thing would have probably been repossessed. But her pocketbook demanded you can't do that, forced it, so to speak. So that's the point I'm making here. Sometimes certain things come in that force you, and if we're running out of good land on planet Earth and they're destroying the rainforests out of control, strictly, mostly I should say, for cattle farming, I got a sneaky suspicion sometime in the future, this could be way out, I have no idea. Got a sneaky suspicion that little thing's going to come knocking on our door. You can't keep living like this. However, if the club gets World War III started and they kill off a bunch of people, well, just make sure you're not one of them. Don't go join the military here in the near future when the call comes, because you know it's coming. As I said the other day, we're now going to change the rules. Women can have combat roles. Oh, I bet they can. And I bet all those kids with student loans, you're going to offer them, make them an offer they can't refuse. Will pay off that debt of yours, or work with it somehow in some good way for you if you join the military. And the only way I can see it is we'll pay it off. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. Or come to the military, we'll give you a little salary, but you're going to work on paying that student loan debt off with this salary. You can see it coming. So, anyways, global warming from Zero Hedge. Great news. The greatest threat to future generations of the world have apparently been solved. World leaders Saturday adopted a historic international climate accord in Paris, the first ever agreement to commit almost every country to fight climate change. However, as we knew all along and just got confirmation, the 31-page pact does not have binding language or a mechanism to force countries to live up to the promises to cut greenhouse gas emissions or provide money for developing and poor nations to cope with the effects of global warming. I thought that's what this all was about. No? Just a gathering and spend millions of dollars of taxpayer monies for leaders or big shots to show up and have a chat? Come on. Basically, COP 21 was a massive taxpayer-funded boondoggle in which leaders enjoyed all the perks of Paris for 2 weeks, burned through hundreds of millions in public funding, and created millions of tons in greenhouse gases. And he says, what do you think the private jets and government what do you think? What? 2 private jets? Made a little typo there. Long story short, they're flying on jets, the biggest spewers of carbon emissions on the planet. Although the big cruise ships and stuff, they're pretty big too. So imagine flying on this thing that's polluting the whole world to go talk about polluting the whole world. We're going to need to change that. And no one really agrees on anything because there's nothing binding. It's no different than just like the politicians. Oh, when those damn Republicans, when we get in the office, we're going to reverse Obamacare immediately, and Paul Ryan's now got the lead of the House, and we're going to fix the. And then they get in. Hey, you said that. You said it on TV. I heard you. Yeah, we're going to work on that. It's non-binding. I could say anything I want to run as a politician. I'm going to make everybody get checks from the government forever. Enough to pay your mortgage, everything. Just vote for me. And then you vote for me. I can't do it. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So, what the hell was this climate thing all about, anyways? Well, France did get one thing out of this whole deal. They had a terror attack, and they got to declare martial law for 3 months, which it was normally 12 days, I think. And they got their laws changed, and now they're going to pass a little Patriot Act like America has gotten. And they've got martial law powers, which they've already used, and detained protesters for protesting this climate meeting. Why the hell would you even waste those powers to piss everybody off when you didn't even make an agreement? That means anything. It's just us talking. We had a verbal discussion about what we should do. We agreed, yeah, we should do these things. And what happened? No, nobody said, well, what happens if we don't? Excuse me. What happens if we don't? Nothing. Oh, okay. Well, let's go have fun in Paris. See you later.